On June 12th, 2025, I, Sarah Mitchell, learned the hard cost of challenging a privileged heir who believed the world bent to his will. It began like any other Tuesday morning. I was in my office by 6:30 a.m., coffee in hand, finalizing the annual budget for our top client, the one that had kept our company afloat during the 2023 downturn. Then, the door crashed open. Ethan Ramsey, 20 years old, son of our CEO, strutted in, his tailored suit ill-fitting on his wiry frame, his eyes burning with the indignation of a child denied his way. "You think you can dismiss me?" he snapped, slamming a folder onto my desk. "When I give a directive, you execute." I stayed composed, professional. "Ethan, I don't take directives from interns." His face flushed crimson. "I'm the future of this company. You'll pay for this." I raised an eyebrow. "Then I'll deal with you when you're actually in charge." "For now," I gestured to the door, "please leave." I knew defying him would have consequences. I just didn't expect them to hit by nightfall. 3 months earlier, our CEO, Gregory Ramsey, announced that his son Ethan would join the company to gain experience. Most of us assumed he'd linger for a few weeks, get bored, and retreat to his family's vacation estate. We were mistaken. Ethan was given the title of Assistant Operations Manager, a role I'd earned after 6 years of relentless work. With no qualifications and zero grasp of our operations, he believed I should answer to him. At first, I humored him. I quietly fixed his botched reports, smoothed over his disastrous client emails, and covered for his missed deadlines. Why? Because I cared about my career and the company I'd helped rebuild. I hoped he'd mature. I was wrong. The tipping point came 2 weeks before that Tuesday. Ethan stormed into my office, dropped a file on my desk, and said, "Fire the Thompson crew. They disrespected me." The Thompson crew, my team had just landed a $4.2 million deal. "I'm not firing anyone, because they bruised your ego," I said evenly. His response, "I'll tell my father you defied me." I met his glare. "Go ahead." He left in a huff. I thought Gregory would rein him in. I underestimated the reach of entitlement. The night of our annual summer gala, I was representing our global partners, a division I'd built from the ground up. The venue sparkled, the investors were impressed, and for a moment, I believed hard work mattered. Then, my phone pinged. A text from Gregory Ramsey. "Sarah, my office, first thing tomorrow." My stomach churned. I barely slept. By 7:15 a.m. I stood before Gregory's desk. He avoided my gaze. "Sarah, I'm afraid I have to—" I cut him off. "Check your inbox first." His face paled. He didn't know I'd been documenting everything. Gregory opened the folder I'd emailed the night before. Inside were 38 forwarded emails. From Ethan, some absurd, others reckless. There was Ethan instructing logistics to fake shipping records, demanding accounting inflate his project metrics, and emailing me directly. "Do what I say or you're done." I stood silent as he read. He slumped in his chair, exhaling heavily. I had no idea. I crossed my arms. "Didn't you?" He flinched. He'd known enough, but had chosen to ignore it. It's easier to overlook your heir's flaws until the evidence is undeniable. "Sarah, why didn't you tell me sooner?" I kept my tone steady. "Because I believed this company valued merit. Because I didn't want to be the one to unravel your family." His eyes flickered with guilt and fear. "The board can't see this." I gave him a hard look. "I'm not here to blackmail you, Gregory. I'm here because your son demanded I fire a team that just secured $2 million. When I refused, he vowed to ruin me. I'm here because I won't let a 20-year-old bully destroy good people while you turn a blind eye." Silence hung heavy, broken only by the hum of his office's air conditioning. Gregory whispered, "What do you want?" I gave a slight smile. "I want my career. I want the Thompson crew safe. I want this chaos to stop before it destroys you. Ethan's your problem." I left his office, heart racing. This wasn't about vengeance. It was about fairness, about ensuring hard work still counted. But by the next Monday, Ethan's retaliation began. Emails excluded me. Meetings were rescheduled without notice. Budget approvals stalled. Corporate sabotage, subtle but deliberate. I caught Ethan smirking outside a strategy session I hadn't been invited to. He even had the gall to wink. Entitled people like Ethan think power's a game they can cheat. They don't realize some people hold the foundation together. A week later, Gregory called me back. "You're right," he said quietly. "Ethan's out of control." I raised an eyebrow. "Have you talked to him?" He looked away. "I tried. He won't listen. He says if I don't fire you, he'll take it to the board." I laughed. A 20-year-old threatening board action? Bold. Gregory didn't smile. "Sarah, I have to suspend you temporarily to calm him down. It's not personal." I stared, cold. "It never is it?" He winced. "I'll fix it, I promise." But I knew he wouldn't stand up to Ethan. He'd sacrifice me, the one who'd built his global division, because it was easier. I nodded and walked out, head high. But I wasn't defeated. I'd been preparing for months. 4 months earlier, I'd sensed the shift. Clients grew uneasy. Senior leaders asked odd questions. Key partnerships I'd secured were reassigned. Ethan was angling for my division, and Gregory was letting him. So I started documenting. Every email, every reckless decision, every client complaint about Ethan's behavior. I didn't keep it to myself. I confided in 2 allies, Lisa Wong, our compliance chief, and Javier Ruiz, our lead counsel. Both had seen Ethan's chaos firsthand. Over coffee, off the record, I showed them everything. Lisa shook her head. "Sarah, this could end your career." Javier nodded. "If the board sees this, they need to see it," I said, "and not for me, for the company." After a long pause, Lisa leaned in. "I'm with you." Javier nodded. "Me too." We worked late nights, cross-referencing Ethan's meddled contracts, tracking compliance risks. Javier drafted memos on potential fiduciary breaches. Lisa found that one of Ethan's initiatives nearly violated trade regulations. I'd quietly fixed it months earlier to save the company. By the time Gregory suspended me, I wasn't worried. The board wouldn't hear about Ethan's mess from me, they'd hear it from compliance and legal. Then there was our biggest client, Horizon International. I'd built that relationship myself, and they'd clashed with Ethan after a disastrous pitch he'd led. I met their VP, Aisha Patel, for lunch. Casually, I asked about their future plans. Aisha gave me a knowing look. "Off the record, Sarah, if you're out, so are we." "Seriously?" She nodded. "We don't deal with amateurs." That was enough. When my suspension hit the company email, 2 things happened. Lisa and Javier sent their report to the board, and Horizon International emailed Gregory a warning about pulling their business if leadership didn't stabilize. The official notice went out at 8:45 a.m. on a Wednesday. Sarah Mitchell, administrative leave, pending review. Cold, vague, corporate. But the real review wasn't about me. At 9:20 a.m., Lisa and Javier's report hit the board. It was clinical. Ethan's attempts to manipulate data, his unauthorized directives, his compliance risks, and Gregory's failure to act. It recommended a leadership accountability review. By 10 a.m., the boardroom was sealed. Lisa texted me, "Gregory looks broken. Ethan tried blaming you. Board's not buying it." I felt calm. I hadn't leaked anything. I didn't need to. Truth finds its way. At 1:30 p.m., "Hi," Gregory called. I let it go to voicemail twice before answering. "Sarah, we need to talk. About my suspension?" A sharp exhale. "About everything." We met that afternoon. Gregory looked drained. No trace of the confident CEO. "The board wants to meet you tomorrow," he said. "They've asked for Ethan's resignation and my temporary step-down." I nodded. "Sounds fair." He gave a bitter smile. "You really did it. You took him down." I held his gaze. I didn't take anyone down. Ethan did that himself. I just refused to clean up his mess. He slumped. "You were our best. I should have supported you." I said nothing. Words were pointless now. The next morning, I faced the board. 12 stern faces, but their tone shifted as I spoke. I laid out the deals I'd secured, the risks I'd averted, the division I'd built. They didn't grill me, they listened. Heads nodded. The chairman spoke. "Sarah, we'd like you to consider interim head of global operations while we restructure." I was stunned. Not just reinstated, promoted, but I stayed cautious. Titles fade, Respect endures. 2 weeks later, Ethan was gone. No announcement, just whispers he'd been sent to manage a family fund in Dubai exile to avoid scandal. Gregory stepped down quietly, citing personal reasons, corporate jargon for a graceful exit. On my first day as interim head, I passed Ethan's empty office. No gloating, no celebration. This was about protecting my team. I gathered them and made one promise. No titles, no egos. We work with integrity and respect. That's our foundation. Relief washed over their faces. A month later, Horizon International renewed their contract. Aisha Patel called personally, "We want leaders who know their craft." That's you. Other clients followed. The company didn't just recover, it soared. At a private board dinner weeks later, the chairman offered me the permanent role of Vice President of Global Operations. I paused. "I have conditions," he smiled. "Name them." No nepotism in leadership. Transparent accountability for executives. Full authority to protect my team. He nodded. Agreed. I signed the contract, not for the title, but to ensure no one else would fight the battles I did for basic respect. The last I heard, Ethan was floundering in Dubai, his startup bleeding cash, investors unimpressed. Entitlement crumbles when competence calls its bluff. Gregory and Ethan thought they could break me. They didn't understand power. Real power isn't titles or tantrums. It's skill, integrity, and the trust of those you lead.